Hey guys, it's Zach back with a review you've asked for, and asked for, and asked for, and here it is. It's the MCHOSE K7 Ultra, finally. And yes, I will be giving you my thoughts on how I think it stacks up against the ATK X1 Ultimate, as well as the Viper V3 Pro. The unique feature of this mouse, beside the shape, is the included charging dock, which is magnetic, which has some pros, but also some definite cons. Regardless, is this the new best Viper V3 Pro clone, and the best choice for you? Let's find out. So here we have it, the MCHOSE K7 Ultra, in all of its black and gold glory. Yet, another Viper V3 Pro clone, but let's be honest, none of us are surprised that's the case. This shape is the GOAT, the universal shape that I think is just better than the GPX and MCHOSE. Why would they not clone it and make it look stylish as hell in the process? The question is, could they make it stand apart? One way that they try to do that is the charging base, which we'll talk about here in a little bit when we get to the bottom of the mouse. But beyond that, to find the answer, we'll have to jump right here into the implementation. And as I'll always harp on, this has armor and opticals. ATK mice don't anymore. Rip ATK, I entirely stand by that video that I made about that. And the armor runs of this mouse are pretty akin to how they feel in like the old ATK X1 Ultimate, for example. They do get pretty light here down at the bottom, but not too light for my liking. They're not nearly as light as you would find in the MCHOSE A7, for example. They're pretty average tactile here in the middle. And they do get really darn heavy here at the top. If you were someone who does have to click there, just take note of that. I do find it interesting that they didn't use something like this on the X1 or the Viper V3, specifically in some sort of raised way, like on the Viper V3 Pro, to prevent this side-to-side play, as there's a little bit more here than I'd like to see. It doesn't really affect you in game, but it is there. Sorry, this black is hard to see in the lighting. There's a bit of pre-travel you can see there, nothing crazy. And you can get a solid amount of post, but because of how springy armor and obstacles are, that does not affect your usage at all, which is one of the huge perks of armor runs. They rebound so quickly, so well. It's just nice and springy. They are the best switch there is. So to be honest with me, if you were a company that had a lot of good clones and you switched off of those, that would be a poor decision. So they're good. Scroll wheel has definite defined steps. I do love the touch of the gold trimming here around the black rubber. Medium light on the steps here, a little bit on the louder side, but nothing obnoxious. And the click is very spammable, so again, the scroll wheel also quite good. Side buttons, absolute bangers. You'll want to note they're a little bit more in the middle part of the mouse than the forward ones of the X1. A change a lot of people might like, a change that I hate on the X1. Very crisp, very spammable, do not fall into the shell at all. These are absolutely perfect in my opinion. Not a lot of pre-travel, not a lot of post-travel, not a lot of play. They're perfect. They're the best side buttons I've used on a budget mouse in a very long time. You could argue this isn't quite budget with the pricing it comes in at, but they're just that damn good. And they look sick to boot. Coating-wise on this, pretty good. Nice, rubberized. MCHOSE has better coatings than ATK. This is a little bit better than the X1's coating. It's like an 8.5 out of 10. Not quite Viper V3 Pro white, but very good. You'll find no complaints with this, beside the fact that, as you can see here, the black does at least pick up some fingerprints. I've not tried the white. I would be curious to have someone's opinion. If you have it in the comments, let me know how the white coating is. Obviously, it'll pick up less fingerprints. Is it grippier? Would love to know. Build integrity-wise, you can get some flex here on the side if you really press. No side button actuation. Not quite as much as I recall on the X1. Not sure why I'm recalling when I can just try it. They're about the same in side flex. I do think this X1 metallic red, by the way, built a little bit better than the standard X1. Standard bit of flex here on the bottom. Nothing on the top. Nothing really here on the front side either. So build quality, darn good. No complaints from my side. And let's come to the bottom of the mouse. The most interesting part of this mouse, because they chose to put a magnetic charging dock in conjunction with this mouse with a magnetic feature. Very strong. I'm a huge fan of this, honestly. It's very nice. Instead of having to plug my mouse in the charger, I can just flip it on there. At a base level, this definitely added some weight to the mouse, and it also made this backskate here smaller, which are both things I don't like. As nice as this magnetic charging dock is, I think it's probably a misfire because of the other sacrifices I had to make in order to put it on the mouse. Beside that, sensor position on this mouse exactly matches the Viper V3 Pro. Pretty central, not nearly as far back as the X1, which is another flaw I have with that mouse. No longer a fan of that. Prefer them to be central or a little bit forward, honestly, these days. And then looking at the skates, these skates are much higher quality. I used to always crap on MCHOSE stock black PTFE skates, and either I complain enough, doubt it. They probably just figured out, let's get some better skates. So these are gray PTFE. They're about as quick as the X1 Ultimate, like ATK's gray skates on their higher quality mice. Maybe even a little bit faster. The glide on these, very quick, very usable, thick, rounded, no complaints. These are not the kind of skates you'll even need to replace ever, and I absolutely love that on a mouse from MCHOSE. They have addressed my biggest complaint. Props to them. And for reference, I'll be reviewing this L7 Ultra Plus. Absolute banger of a mouse here in the near future, and it seems like the trend. This is the new stock skate for MCHOSE mice. Now to reach the part you've all been waiting for, what is my recommendation? Let's do the comparisons between this, the X1 Ultimate, and the Viper V3 Pro. This is actually a newer copy of the V3 Pro that I picked up recently, and it is crisp as heck. Got flawless build quality, amazing spammable side buttons, slightly tighter, better feeling ratio opticals to me, Razer Customs, whatever you want to call them, and their stock crap skates. As far as the K7 versus Viper V3 Pro, it's virtually a one-to-one shape clone. I didn't really detect any differences. The sensor position is the same. The skate design on the Viper V3 Pro is a little bit better, but the stock skates on the K7 Ultra clear it miles better, not even close. The Viper V3 Pro, as well as the X1 Ultimate, a little bit lighter, but the weight on this didn't bother me. The one thing I will note here that I didn't mentioned before, is at the bottom here having this wireless charging tech does make the mouse a little bit back heavy. So if you're super sensitive weight balance, I would not go with the K7 Ultra unless you intend to mod it and remove this extra tech back here and put a standard battery in. The weight gets down to a very good spot and the weight balancing becomes a little bit better. But beyond that, I'd say the side buttons are pretty close here. K7s at least match the Viper V3 Pros. I much prefer the Omrons on this to the clicks on the Razer mouse. And honestly, I would say at the same price, if you're an Omron lover, get the K7 Ultra. If you don't have a preference in clicks, if you get this used or a very good price, you probably do go for the Viper V3 Pro. And as far as the X1 Ultimate goes here, these skates are pretty close to my estimation, almost identical. And this has a better design. So the winner here is the ATK X1. Sensor position is a little bit farther back on the X1. I don't like that. So K7 gets the edge there. Weight balancing on this is better. Due to the lack of the weird back charging weight here, then the mouse overall at stock is a little bit lighter. As far as click implementation, I prefer the MCHOSE because it's quieter. Like ATK is this loud, sort of obnoxious Omron ping, which I don't mind, but a lot of people do. So if you give me the option, I'll go with the quieter MCHOSE clicks. That feel just a little bit better implemented in my opinion. Maybe something the average person wouldn't detect. Scroll wheel, virtually a toss-up. No real preference there. This is going to be personal preference. The side button's more forward on the X1. I don't like that. They're also bare plastic, not coated. I don't love that. It doesn't really bother me, but if I can get a coated one like over here on the K7 Ultra, I'm going to take it. Where my thumb placement is works better for me in the middle placement. So do take note of that for how you grip the mouse. These side buttons on the X1 here do sink in a little bit. They feel less high quality. They're just not close to the quality of the implementation of the side buttons on the K7 Ultra. A clear win there. Coating wise, edge to this K7 Ultra. ATK coatings are pretty good. Like the standard X1 Ultimate, which I have a white one over there, is solid, but maybe like 1 out of 10 lower than the K7 Ultra. And this metallic red one, just about 1 out of 10 lower than the standard ATK coating. Not quite as grippy. Build quality on these, virtually 1-to-1, not a big difference. So in my opinion, if we're going head to head here and you can pick one over the other, if you're not super sensitive to weight balancing or you're willing to mod out that wireless stuff, it's the K7 Ultra hands down. Again, if this side button placement matters to you, if you like to slightly further back sensor on this X1, grab it. Either of these is $10 or more cheaper. I think you don't even think about it. You get that mouse probably, unless anything on these that I talked about is a massive deal breaker. And that about ends it for my comparison here. I personally think that this is my favorite Viper V3 Pro clone these days. I don't include the S9 Ultra in this because of mechanical clicks. While they're good, just can't compare the Omrons to any of these mice here. In the end, price notwithstanding, it doesn't stand up to them. If you consider the price and the value of the S9 Ultra, especially on sale or on Amazon, then we can start to have a different conversation, which I've already had in 2 or 3 previous videos. So is this the absolute clear winner for everybody? No. Is it a very, very good mouse? And do I enjoy it? Will I use this as my main Viper V3 Pro clone going forward as of right now? Yes. But if you took this away from me and told me I had to use the X1 Ultimate all day, I'd still be a very, very happy camper as long as you have Omron obstacles. But let's be honest, it's not my favorite shape anyway. I prefer the OP1. All that being said, this is $10 cheaper on the MCHOSE site than this is on the ATK site. And I believe MCHOSE shipping might be cheaper. Don't quote me on that. But the price of this on AliExpress with cash back and coupons can be the same or cheaper. So do not forget to check on AliExpress if you're trying to find the best price on these mice when picking between them. As far as my overall experience and the performance of this mouse goes, honestly, this is the part of the video that keeps getting shorter and shorter because a lot of these mice are just the same. Nothing stands out. And this is the case as well here. It has a 3950 8K pulling from that magnetic charging dock. It performed just as well as any other MCHOSE mouse. Very good. The size of this dongle may contribute to what I saw as a little bit less wireless interference, but your mileage may vary there. Is this a god tier 3950 implementation? Are we talking about Razer levels here? No. Is it very good? Is it going to get you where you want to go? In my opinion, absolutely yes. The sensor implementation, the performance of this mouse is nothing that will hold you back. It's not a hindrance. It's very good. And that's why I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. And for those wondering, this does have a Realtek chip. And one more thing I thought I should mention, an actually irritating part of the K7 Ultra is you do not get any replacement skates. So if you do go to mod this mouse in any way, shape, or form, and you want to keep these skates, do be careful when you remove them to keep them in a state that you want to put them back on should you want to reuse them. And because I'm messing around with this new boom arm, I can do a sound test on screen. Now, as far as software goes with our mice, MCHOSE has finally now moved into the future. We have a web driver here. You set your DPI, your lighting on the dock, good thing to note. Some people will ask that question. Performance-wise, I've been running this in extreme mode. And yes, they do have this new feature for the K7 Ultra where it runs at max power at 20K. I did not use game safe mode ever because this reduced performance and I'm not crazy. Tested on 2K, goes up to 8K polling, no to bounce with the optical switches, and all the settings you'd expect here. And otherwise just a section to update your firmware. I'm on the latest. My mouse didn't brick. Shocker. Grabbing some weights, we have this stock K7 Ultra, stock skates, nothing removed, coming in at 58.8 grams, actually right on advertised 59 grams, props to that. Sub 60 grams, perfectly acceptable, but the heaviest of these three, we have the Viper V3 Pro here, coming in completely stock, 54.7 grams, and the X1 Ultimate here also, 100% stock, 56.7 grams, a 4 gram total difference between these, 2 grams steps between the mice. I will say, credit to ManPhalanges, Mousecast co-host, he modded his down to sub 50 grams by removing all the wireless tech back here, putting a small battery in it, so lots of potential to make this mouse very light, make the weight weight balancing better, and then in my opinion, this would be the de facto best Viper V3 Pro clone, again, unless you prefer the X1's caveats. So that about sums it up for my thoughts on the MCHOSE K7 Ultra. It is indeed a very solid Viper V3 Pro clone, and it turns out it's my favorite. I may look into the modifications that I talked about to get this thing to sub 50 grams and sacrifice that magnetic charging dock, because that would really solidify it for me as the top clone. As it stands, there are still compelling reasons to get the X1, or look for a used Viper V3 Pro, should they be available to you at a very good price. Regardless, I do love the direction MCHOSE is moving, with the improvement to their skates, their WebDriver, and their overall great click implementation of their on opticals. And be sure to look out for my soon upcoming review of the MCHOSE L7 Plus, an absolute banger of a Sora V2 clone. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Follow me on X at DasherZach. Join up with my Discord server. It's my favorite spot to talk about peripherals on the internet. Check out the Mousecast podcast. And with that, we'll see you.